Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Northern European Esports Masters, or NEAM for short. My name is Luke Crane. I will be your commentator for the season. So hopefully you're looking forward to some incredible racing action from the Northern European countries. A little explanation about the championship then. So NEAM is an open GT4 championship for all experience levels set in iRacing, where participants from 8 Northern European nations battle it out for the title across 6 events. To start, competitors are measured against each other in time attack, which is a time trial-based sort of championship. Following the results of the time attack each month, the 2 top competitors in each of the 5 tiers, which I will explain in a little bit as to what that means, will represent their country in the Clash of Nations races, which we will witness the round number 1 tonight at Spa, to fight for the overall Nations Championship points. The nation ranking highest at the end of the 2023 season earns the title of Northern Europe Esports Master. This is the Clash of Nations Round 1 Tier 1 live stream. I hope I find you well. As you can see on your screens there, it's a GT4 championship. We've got ourselves 8 nations. Here are your 8 nations. We've got Finland, we've got Germany, we've got Iceland, we've got Luxembourg, and we've got the Netherlands. Luxembourg's the lighter blue there, with the Netherlands with the darker blue at the bottom of their flag. Then we've got Norway, we've got Sweden, so we've got the Battle of the Scandinavians, of course, 3 countries there. Iceland as well, technically, not really, I guess. And then you've got United Kingdom as well. So that is your 8 competing nations. Every single nation will, for the most part, have 2 drivers every single month, but as it being a new competition, not many people knew about it, so today is a little bit less. So let's explain the format. So every single month, we have a time trial per nation. So to explain exactly how this works, because we're trying to give everybody the opportunity at every skill level to represent their country. So if 100 people take part in a time trial, P1 and P2 would represent their country in Tier 1. In Tier 2, it would be P21 and P22, so that'd be the top 2 in the second 20% of participants. In Tier 3, it would be P41 and indeed 42, and so on and so forth. I'm sure you get what I'm saying there. Then they head to the races. So we're going to be witnessing Tier 1 this evening, and then by the end of the season, we will have a National Drivers' Championship, which is indeed the time trial-based championship, and then the overall Nations Championship, which is based on the Clash of Nations races. Highest scoring nation wins the title. There we go. It is pretty much as simple as that. But now we're talking about the cashish. This is what people want, the money. 1,250 euros per nation. So every single month you're battling against your own nation. So every single nation has that 1,250 euro prize pool. And by the end of the season, all of your positions in the time trial will be added up as an aggregate, and your average position, obviously if you are the best, if you come P1 6 times out of 6, 120 euros in your back pocket right before Christmas. Perfect time to go out there and get some beers with your friends. The Clash of Nations, in terms of the whole championship, which is what we're seeing today, the races, the top nation, in terms of points scored in these races, will earn themselves 2,500 euros. So what that means is, every single month, we will see different drivers. We could see the same drivers. Ultimately, if there's people that are competing and they are continually doing really well in the time trials, then yes, we might see them more than once. But we could see different drivers representing their country every single week, which is pretty exciting. Anyway, time attack happened for round number 1 between May the 15th and the 21st, and we've got May the 27th today, which shocked me. I looked at this graphic in the rehearsal today. I'm like, it's May the 27th already? It is. I did check on my phone. Next round will be June the 5th to the 18th. That is indeed where you need to take part in your time trials. So you need to go to neam.gg, go get signed up if you're from the 8 participating regions, and just get a time trial time in. Get yourself involved. If you're the top 50 in your nation by the end of the year, you're going to earn yourself money. That is ultimately what we're here for, right? Earn a bit of cash. The race for June will be on the 24th. Then we've got round 3, which is September the 11th to the 24th. That's the time trial times. And then September the 30th will be the race. In round 4, it's October the 9th to the 22nd for time attack. And then October the 28th, it will be the race. Round 5 is November the 6th to the 19th. And then the race will take place then on November the 25th. And the final round, it will be December the 4th to the 17th for the time attack. And then that race will be December the 23rd. Oh, there we go. So that is pretty much all of the information for the championship. We're at Circuit Spa-Francorchamps. We've got ourselves some afternoon weather, dynamic skies, pretty hot. 40 minutes of racing. So if you are indeed someone who participates on iRacing, it's a VRS race, effectively, with a mandatory pit stop. So yeah, we do have a mandatory pit stop. Apparently the cars start with 55 litres. Did a little bit of digging earlier. Sam Kiter gave me a bit of information. So that it looks like not only will they have to take 4 tyres and mandatory pit stop, as it states there, they will have to add a little bit of fuel to the car as well. But luckily, in iRacing these days, you can do both at the same time, so they shouldn't lose any time. But yeah, it should make it interesting in terms of how they split it. So I would imagine it will be a case of 20 minutes, get your car in, try and make the best of the tyres. You can absolutely run the tyres ragged. So the car is the GT4s. You're going to see multiple different GT4s during this championship. Again, the race duration is about 40 minutes. The pit stop, as I've said, is mandatory 4 tyre change, and the setup is fixed. Everybody's running on the same setup within the same cars. So yes, very interesting indeed. So let me know where you're watching from around the world. We are live on Neem_GG on Twitch and indeed on YouTube. We are also watching on my channel, Vision. So if you want to get yourself involved, say hello, let me know where you're watching from. Maybe you've got someone that you would like to support as well. So here are your drivers then. Should we go through the driver list? I think that's what people want to know, who's taking part. The first driver then is Ben Lewis. So Ben Lewis is taking part. He's representing Luxembourg. A little bit more about Ben Lewis though. He drives for Team VVDL as well as Luxembourg for this championship. He won a sim racing hot lap challenge at Spa for a free taxi run in the KTM Crossbow GTX race car. So yeah, Ben Lewis, quite new to sim racing, but a very quick driver indeed. Next driver on our list today will be Gareth Higgins. He's representing the United Kingdom. He will be running in the Aston Martin Vantage GT4. He drives for Team Shizou. They're a team that's been around a long, long time, by the way. This year he finished P2 in the AM class of the Porsche Esports Carrera Cup GB. He narrowly missed out on the title in the last round, so he was in there sniffing for that championship right up until the end. Another driver representing the United Kingdom then, it's Matt Caruana, who is indeed in the McLaren 570S GT4, only 17 years old. I wish I was 17 again. What an incredible time period that was. He's from the UK and he is racing for Kimura Racing and of course the United Kingdom. Sam Kiter from the Netherlands, one of the more well-known names I would say taking part in this championship, racing in the McLaren 570S GT4. He is indeed a driver for Urano Esports and he is a PESC participant, one of the most coveted championships in the world of sim racing. It is a very hard championship to get in and stay in. Next driver then, representing Norway, we've got Stefan Hjelvik. I'm probably butchering that name, but yeah, Hjelvik, probably my favourite livery, by the way. The Norwegian flag there in its full glory. We love to see that. In the Aston Martin Vantage GT4, he drives for Arnage competition outside of representing his country, and he's only 16 years old. The grid is very young indeed. Now, the next driver, it is Nicholas Laubish, who I think everybody knows who this driver is, and absolutely ridiculous in terms of what he's achieved over the last couple of years. And, well, he's given us lots of information. He drives for Urano Esports, as many of you will know. SCO Endurance GT3 22 champion. That was last year, of course. First in the 24 Hours of Nürburgring GT4 class. I know how difficult that was because I was taking part in split 747 in the GT4. And it was tough to get anywhere near the front. So to win it in the top split, that's pretty incredible. Second in the VCO Infinity 2022. Well, I commentated on that, and I know how difficult that was because all of the big dogs were out and around that. So that's impressive to be second. And also, I think that was really, for me personally, where Urano kind of announced themselves on iRacing in terms of the competitions out there. And since then, they've been unbelievable. He also finished second at the 6 Hours of Watkins Glen GT3 2022 Championship, or special event race last year, and also a European Digital Motorsports Champion in 2021. I think if we let Nicholas give us any more in terms of his achievements, we would be here all week. It would be as long as the Bible, I reckon. And our final driver, although I believe we do have an extra one that has joined, Vasilios Beletsiotis. Again, absolutely butchering that name, no doubt about it, but unfortunately, he will have to send a letter to his parents to explain how his name is now pronounced, because I'm not changing it. 18 years old, another young gun, a professional sim racing driver for Williams Esports. Have you heard of Williams Esports? Yes. Massive team in the world of sim racing. He lives in Germany. His biggest achievement is he got P1 in the iRacing Nürburgring 24-hour special event in the GT3 class. We also have Jarl Teyen, which doesn't really need an explanation as to who Jarl Teyen is. He is an absolute monster in the world of sim racing. We've got ourselves about 15 seconds left on the practice clock, and then we are going to be heading over to qualification. So they qualify, and then we've got a 40-minute race with the mandatory pit stops. How are we all doing, ladies and gentlemen? We've got Paul Langer. How you doing, mate? You okay? Drive Dead, you all good, bud? Good to see you as well. This should be fun. I think this should be pretty fun. Make sure you let your friends know all about this championship as well. Come and get involved. Come and sign up. It'll be cool to see a lot of you on the grid next time around. So there is the checkered flag for our practice session. Now we're heading to qualification. Well, this is definitely not the grid. We're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves here. You've got to do qualifying before you see a grid. It is what it is. Don't worry about it. But we are here at the circuit Spa-Francorchamps. And we know around here in the afternoon, when it's a very hot temperature out there, I'm not sure exactly what the track temperature is, but ultimately the tyres will be burning. 9 minutes and 30 seconds left to qualifying, so it's a 10-minute session, but plenty of time for our drivers to indeed get a lap time. Once they've done a warm-up lap, we'll get a nice little onboard. Who should we go on board with? Well, you know what? Let me know in the chat, guys. We've got 2.5 minutes. Who would you like to see an onboard from? And we'll go through a lap of this famous circuit in Belgium. Well, I did find it very strange that, you know, we have got all these nations, and we've gone to Belgium as the first round, where we probably should have gone to a track per nation, but it's not. I guess there's a few tracks that a few countries we can't really go to on iRacing with how many circuits they have. There's the run down towards Blanchimont. So unfortunately, it looks like we might not be able to see the qualifying session because the producer unfortunately joined as a driver opposed to a watcher. So yeah, I'm not sure we're going to be able to see any of the information, in all fairness. So that's not ideal. So maybe it's a good idea for us to just take you all through the run at the start of the show again. We're going to have the race. Don't worry about that. We will have the race. But let's start again then. Let's explain what this series is all about. Again, welcome to the Northern European Esports Masters. It's a GT4 championship. We've got 8 nations, 6 rounds, and there's 12,500 euros of cash to win. That's really the main factor of this championship. Get yourself some money, walk away in December, right before Christmas. Oh, glorious times. It is for all experience levels. What I mean by that is what the championship is looking to do is trying to get participants of varying abilities in different tiered races. So we're watching tier 1. There is a potential of 5 tiers each and every week. So just to explain how that works, we have a time attack, and just throwing a number out there, if we have 100 people take part in the time attack, then it gets split in terms of percentage. So the top 20% obviously would be 20 drivers. The second 20% will be the second set of 20 drivers, and the top 2 from each percentage will indeed represent their nation within that tier. So the top 2, P1, P2, would be tier 1, P21, P22 would go to tier 2, etc., etc. So it gives a chance for a lot more people who maybe not, you know, normally you get the same old names, the big dogs always in the top races and stuff, but this is a nice opportunity to, you know, give other people a chance to represent their country. I think that's a pretty cool thing. There is also a National Drivers' Championship, which is based on the time trial, which happens across the 6 months. And there is actually 1,250 euros per nation for that. So you're not even battling against other nations. You're battling against your own nation. So if you get in the top 50 over the course of the next 6 months, you're guaranteed to win cash. And then we get to the races, which is today, the overall Nations Championship, based on the Clash of Nations races. So wherever you finish in the races in terms of your nation, that will indeed qualify as to how high you go up and whether you win the €2,500 prize pool for your nation. Let's have a look at a breakdown in terms of the money then for the time attack. And again, a little more of an explanation here. Get yourself signed up, neem.gg. Get yourself involved in the time trial. If you are one of the top 50 in your nation, you will win money. It really is as simple as that. So you get top 50 in your nation, you will win money. If you're P1, you get 120 euros all the way down to P50, which is indeed 10 euros. So there is plenty on offer. Let's check out then the 8 nations that will be taking part in this championship. So there they are in all their glory. We've got Finland, we've got ourselves Germany, we've got ourselves Iceland, then there's Luxembourg, which has got the lighter blue at the bottom of their flag. Then you've got the Netherlands, which has got the darker blue. Norway, we've then got Sweden, and then we've got the United Kingdom. Talk to me, ladies and gentlemen. Which country are you supporting? And also, is there anyone out there that thinks, oh, do you know what? I'm going to give this a crack next time. Let me know in the chat if you indeed want to get yourself involved. And also, if you've got any questions about the championship and maybe you need to know some information, please get yourselves involved in that way as well. But we do apologise. To be fair, the producers actually just typed in the chat to apologise in Neem. Neem_GG on Twitch. Make sure you go and follow them if you're watching on my channel, and vice versa as well. If you're on YouTube, make sure you go and follow all of the socials as well. Talking of socials, Instagram it's Neem.GG. On Twitter it's Neem_GG. TikTok, which I'm over the age of 30, so legally not allowed to have that. It's Neem.GG. YouTube is Neem_GG, and Twitch, of course, is Neem_GG. So we have got Struelcap, probably butchering that name as well. Luxembourg fan, like to see that. We have got Kuipers Racing supporting the Dutchies. Dutchies always got a big old support, that's for sure. Barmy, how you doing? Welcome. Looks like we've got some times on the board here. So there we go. Kaita is the driver who's put the quickest time in as it stands. And he's done a 2:27.819. But, well, Belletsiotis, which I think is probably wrong. It's just done a 2:27.703. So the difference is just about a tenth of a second between the front two. You're expecting to see those two up there, but look how close it is. Caruana, merely a couple of hundredths of a second back. We've got Laubish, who's about a tenth of a second back. We've got Ward, who's a little bit further back, but only a couple of tenths. You've got Higgins at 28.3, and then you've got a 36.021, and Tayum with a 40.768. I'm wondering whether they might be indeed preparing their tyres on a lap. And then the second lap will be very quick indeed. So where's everyone watching from? Where are you actually watching from around the world right now? Let me know in the chat. So always good to get yourselves involved again. We've got about 3.5 minutes here. We can just have a genuine chat, because ultimately we can't see any cars yet. I do trust me, we will see some cars in terms of the race very, very shortly indeed. Again, my producers are my again. I'm so sorry. It's all good. These things happen. And like I said, you'd only ever do it once. I've done this many a time, to be fair, but most people will only ever do it once. So yeah, it is what it is. You just missed Kuipers, you missed tier 1 just by 5 seconds. To be fair, I would have missed it by about 8. So, yeah, don't worry about that. That's still a competitive time. Still a competitive time. But you gave it a go. That's the main thing. You gave it a go. So Luz has just put a lap time in then, a 2:29.141. In terms of the 7 representative times, I think Kjevik and indeed Tayan are going to put some really quick times in very, very shortly. But a 27.7 down to a 29.1. What were we looking at? A 1.4 second disparity between the grid. Slipstream is a massive factor, especially out of Radion and Eau Rouge up along the Camel Straight. So yeah, you're expecting them to be drafting all the way down. Oh, you got my name on the screen there, look. Luke Crane official on Instagram. Make sure you go give me a follow as well. And hopefully we'll have a nice little bit of fun. But yeah, you are now watching the Northern European Esports Masters. We've got a new fastest lap. Here we go. Caruana, a 27.530. I tell you what, we can't see cars, but the graphics are beautiful. You love to see that. Kaita now down into second spot. Again, a 27.701. Hjelvik has just gone up into P7. Overturns Luz deficit there at 28.578. So now the top 7 are separated by a second. We've then got Jarl Tayan, who's just done a 27.884. So 3 tenths off of pole position. And his session is done and dusted. So he will not be able to put in another lap time. Still waiting to see if there's any more moves or shakes here. I think Higgins might be putting in another lap time. Laubish, he might be putting in another lap time as well. But I'm actually very surprised as to how close this really is. It's a lot closer than I anticipated. I think we might be in for a bit of a classic race. Yes, there's only 9 cars, but we might be seeing 9 cars battle with each other, as I was about to mention. Along that Camel Straight, down towards Blanchimont as well. Slipstreaming is a massive factor. You can gain a couple of tenths. So if you're not quite on pace, you can utilize the slipstream around here. These are like little boxes on wheels of GT4s as well. They haven't got a lot of aero to contend with, so you can follow quite nicely through the corners. It's not the craziest amount of dirty air. So this should prove to be pretty interesting. We've only got 1 minute left for qualifying. Me waffling for 9 minutes has worked out pretty good here, because I've actually not run out of anything to say as it stands, and we're nearly ready to get rocking and rolling in terms of the race. Caruana still P1 then as it stands, and with what, 57 seconds to go, I'm not sure anyone's going to be able to overturn that. I'm not sure anyone's actually on a lap there. My dad's watching. Big Engine, how you doing, mate? Welcome. Hopefully you're well. Hopefully you've got yourself a nice beer and you're just chilling, having a bit of good time. So right now, Caruana for the United Kingdom is P1. Kaita, representing the Netherlands, is in second position as it stands. Then for Germany, it is Bellet Siotis, again, probably butchering the name, but it is what it is. Then we've got Jarl Teyen representing Norway in 4th position. So that's the top 4 are all different countries, actually. And then we've got Laubish, who is the 2nd German driver, so backing up the P3. Ward, then representing Sweden in P6. We've got Higgins representing the United Kingdom in 7th position. And then we've got Hjelvik representing Norway as well in 8th position. And then we have Luz, who's representing Luxembourg in 9th spot. Qualifying's over. Caruana takes pole position. Your first ever pole sitter for the Nîmes Championship is going to be Caruana. So Caruana there with a 2:27.530. Picks up P1. We've got Sam Kiter in 2nd position. And I actually messaged him before this broadcast. And I'm not sure he's done much practice for this, although he's still on the front row of the grid. That's a pretty impressive time, considering the amount of practice he told me he'd done. But then he's a sim racer. He's probably lied. It is what it is. Belet Siotis, he is in 3rd position. Jarl Teyen in 4th spot then. Laubish in 5th. And then rounding out your 3rd row, it is Samuel Ward. The remaining drivers then, Gareth Higgins, Stefan Hjelvik. We've then got Ben Luz. And just to confirm that our producer has indeed had a rock in the head moment, Tiemann Klaus is your 10th driver, and he is the producer. So there you go, proof that it happens. But it is what it is. I'm saying it right, Paul. Thank you. I'm actually saying it right. Don't worry. During a race, I'm sure I'll say it about 4 different ways. I will. If there's one thing I could do really well, that is mess people's names up. So yeah. Oh, you're saying the name properly? Oh, hold my beer. I absolutely will get it wrong at some point. So we're just gridding here. 40 minutes of racing action for the first ever race of Nîmes. Exciting times indeed. Northern European Esports Masters. Here at Spa, who's going to pick up the first ever victory for their nation? United Kingdom and the Netherlands on the front row. And where have we seen that before? Oh, that's right. Lewis Hamilton versus Max Verstappen. Oh, baby. If we have half the fireworks they produced, we're in for an absolute classic. It should be great. So just waiting for everybody. Looks like a couple of setup issues. Drivers just disappeared off the grid just to get things sorted out. You want to be really quick here. You don't want to miss the grid. Ultimately, you'll end up starting from the back. Keeping in the slipstream is going to be absolutely key, especially towards that pit stop phase. Can you manage to jump someone in the pit stops by being a little bit aggressive? I think that's really going to be the difference. We're about to head into the race. Pace car about to take them forward. There we go. So there is the pace car. Off we go. We go then around that final corner. Pace car is indeed in, and now it's up to Caruana. He can go whenever he wants to go. It's a long straight in, wiggling there, trying to catch people off guard. The first race then of the Northern European Esports Masters is about to go green light racing. We have indeed got to go around the source first. I always get confused. Sometimes you start from this start-finish line, other times you start from, indeed, the second one. Different games, to different parties. Here we go then. Caruana will take us away down towards Radio No Rouge. What kind of start do you get? We are green light racing. Sam Kiter has got an absolute worldie of a start here. Caruana's been caught napping. And as we head then down in towards Radio No Rouge for the first time, almost a bit of door banging. And actually, it looks like we've got ourselves a Mercedes up there in Jarl Teyen. A great start then from Travis 3 wide to go along the Kemmel straight. And I tell you what, by the time we get to the end of this, we might see that Norwegian car get involved and make it 4 wide. And ultimately, actually, the Aston looks like it might be a little bit sluggish in terms of being in a straight line. The 2 UK cars, well, they have got massively backwards here. Got to be really careful. Hjelvik, they're trying to get involved in this, then backs out. Of course, in contact very clean from all drivers concerned to come through Lake Com for the first time. But wow, an incredible start at the front here from Sam Kiter. Kiter taking full advantage of Caruana, making a mistake. Caruana, by the way, down to P5 from pole position. Jarl Teyen in 2nd spot again. Someone else taking full advantage. Laubish in 3rd. We've got Beliciotis in 4th position. In 5th spot, then we've got Caruana again. Was pole position. Hjelvik is in 6th spot. Higgins and Luz are 7th and 8th position. Looks like we've actually lost the driver here. So we should have 9. So I don't know, I'm not sure what's happened to one of these drivers. They've not managed to even get started here, or are they a little bit further back? And they started from the pit lane. but the rest of the field are very close in. Barmy there shouting out the graphics. Yeah, the graphics look really cool, don't they? It's a nice package to look at, that's for sure. Sam Kiter, they're trying to indeed ward off the pressure of Yaltain in the background. Qualifying at Spa is not everything. If you can just hang around near the front, can be close to the leader, ultimately, on the final lap, you can make moves. It's a 40-minute race. There's still plenty of time for this action to indeed go absolutely bananas, and I'm sure it will. We head them through Blanchimont for the very first time. Tyres are going to be a little bit cold still here, so you've got to be careful. The car loves to slide. The GT4 car loves to slide. As we head down towards that bus stop chicane, I'm not sure we're going to see a move from the AMG. We're actually going to see a move a little bit further back. McLaren there of Albish. He might have just lost a couple of spots there. We come then round the final corner. Actually, no, Albish is still in P3. But across the line we will go. Laubish then leads the way down towards the source. It's been a relatively clean race. Very, very clean race indeed. Yeah, again, very confusing here. The start finish line is different to what we used to. Down through again, Radio No Rouge. Back to the top line. But not quite this time around. Might be looking to get involved with Yao here. Down the Camel Straight we go. So McLaren's an absolute rocket ship in the straight line. Every other car there struggling to keep pace. Kiter, by the time we get towards the braking zone into the higher gears, it's like they just catch up a touch. But ultimately, it's the first 4 gears, that McLaren is off into the distance. It's also nice that cars have been, the organisations, the nations have actually chosen the cars for the nations, which is always good. So yeah, that's why we're getting a nice difference in terms of what cars. Obviously, we know with the BOP, normally you're just going to get the same car. It's nice to see the McLaren team making up the field. So heading down towards Pouhon. And it's still the lead then for Sam Kiter. And again, I spoke to him before today, and he said, "Oh, I've just turned my PC on, just chilling." We know how quick he can be, but ultimately he's doing the job right now. Sam Kiter, of course, representing the Netherlands. Yaltain representing Norway. He was handpicked by Norway, so every nation basically was given the opportunity to choose their drivers in their way that they want to. Every nation basically went for the case of the time attack. Whoever the top 2 were going to be, they'll go to tier 1. Apart from Norway, they decided to handpick their drivers. So that is why we have Yaltain here and indeed Hjelvik. I think Ollie Steinbraten might have been racing as well originally, but was not able to make it. Down then towards the bus stop chicane. Second lap of this race, and they are definitely closing up at the front. Nice to see some patience though. I know there's only 9 cars, so you kind of expect it to be like that. But these are sim races after all. They absolutely love to send it at any opportunity possible. But being at Spa, they know there's going to be plenty of overtaking opportunities. Where are we all watching from then around the world, ladies and gentlemen? The first real flying lap. Nicholas Laubish there with a 2:27.729. That is the fastest lap. That should get beaten as the fuel load does indeed drop. More specifically in the second stint. Of course, they have to pit. 1 mandatory pit stop, which they have to change all 4 tyres. So the front 4 have kind of got away ever so slightly here. Caruana, who again was pole position, needs to just get back in touch here with the front 4. Bit of a mistake actually from Yaltain. Sam Kiter being very clever here, sharing the slipstream between the 2 drivers behind so that not one of them gets the full benefit of it. And I tell you what, Laubish nearly losing out there. Oh, sorry, Laubish looking to try and catch Tayan out and backs out of it. Ultimately doesn't want to get too involved. You've got Beliciotis then just in behind being patient as well. Caruana has closed up. Not only is Caruana closed up, well, I say Hjelvik. Hjelvik gained a little bit of time there, but nothing too crazy. And ultimately, Hjelvik's looking at this pack in front thinking, you need to get involved with each other a touch here so I can catch up. Otherwise, this race could become very long indeed. Sam Kiter, though, in all of this, is just kind of driven off into the distance. Perfectly executed through Les Combes, gained a couple of tenths, and is there a chance here that he might break that toe? Through Pouhon for the 3rd time of this race. 33 minutes, 50 seconds left on the clock. And Sam Keitel then still leading, a 2:27.8, not the fastest that we've seen, but he hasn't had any toe to deal with at all. He's just at this point just trying to run his own race, just trying to drive away. And ultimately was a big mistake there. Yao Taeyin into the kitty litter, and that is definitely going to cost him time. It's going to cost the group behind him time here. Sam Keitel, again, living the dream, although I believe he's not far enough ahead. I think the gap will be closed down towards Blanchimont. But I'm looking right now at Laubish. I think Laubish has to make a move sooner rather than later. You can see Sam Keitel driving off into the distance, and Yao Taeyin making the odd mistake here or there. The McLaren definitely looks like the quicker car around this circuit specifically, and I'll be going to see a move made into that final chicane. Again, the Mercedes overextending ever so slightly. We'll be able to maintain a bit more speed through there, that's for sure. But in terms of the incident points, you don't want to be doing that every single lap. In a 40-minute race, you're going to run out of incident points very quickly indeed. So Laubish, is there a potential send towards the source? I think they lose a bit too much time if he does go for it. Shoot the leader, you've got to be looking at winning this race. And let's look at the fastest lap. Well, there it is, Sam Keitel, who I mentioned on the previous lap, has not had any toe to work with. But ultimately, he has now got the fastest lap of the race. So we are indeed using the start-finish line. So the start line is different to what the finish line will be. So the finish line will be on the exit of the bus stop chicane, just to let you know at home. So yeah, a bit confusing, but it is what it is. Right now, Nicholas Laubish has decided, you know what, I've got a bump draft here. There's no real opportunity for me to go and make an overtake without losing time. But now, because he's in behind him, you can see that Belliciotis is trying to also get involved. It almost forces him to make himself an opportunity. Then through Les Combes we come. It's normal service resumed. Yao Taeyin losing more time to Sam Keitel, although the gap visually has come down. And Kjelvik caught up as well. I think the Norwegian just in behind. He's about 2.7 seconds off as he runs very wide. No, it doesn't look like he's caught up too much. But he does need these four to start messing around. But he also needs Keitel to make a mistake so that he can get involved in a potential race victory. Sam Keitel, though, is putting on a bit of a clinic here. 31 minutes, 30 seconds left. And he's got that big enough gap to manage. This is perfect. When it comes to the pit stop phase, doesn't have any pressure from behind, doesn't need to push the car and take any chances in terms of penalties. Speeding in the pit lane. It's a long pit lane. But right now, he is doing the job that he needs to do. Perfectly executed as it stands. So right now, Sam Keitel leads. Yao Taeyin is in second. We've got Nicholas Laubish in third spot. Belliciotis is in fourth position. And then we've got in behind them Caruana, who has not had a good start to this race. Started pole position and has dropped down to fifth position before you even could even mention that the race has started. Kjelvik, then again, the best livery on the grid without a shadow of a doubt. If anybody says that's not the best livery, then you know you'd be just being too patriotic to your own country. But yeah, Kjelvik then currently is in what would be sixth position. Higgins is in seventh, and then we've got Luce in eighth spot. We did have 9 drivers. So it looks like Ward did not make the start of this race, and the Swedish driver definitely qualified. We saw a lap time from him, but he has not made the race start, so not ideal. And also thank you to people who stated that the game sound was a little bit too loud. It's always good to get a bit of feedback on the broadcast. If there's anything you want to know, or indeed there's anything we need to improve, please absolutely send an email via the website neem.gg, or indeed let us know in the chat right now. So we're all trying to achieve the same things. We want this championship to do nicely and do really well. It'd be nice to watch. So yeah, it would be nice if you guys could help us do that. Right, here we go. Another opportunity of an overtake. Nicholas Laubish patiently waiting behind Yao Taeyin. Down then through Radion and Eau Rouge. And this is the final the final time that we're going to see Laubish behind Taeyin. Well, he does. He makes a move, squeezes Taeyin then into the inside of the right-hander. There's a little bit of a kink there. And as we head down in towards Les Combes, the AMG seems to just have a bit more poke in terms of when he's not got any slipstream to work with, and actually holds on. The overlap is not there, and Laubish is going to lose a lot of time, and actually potentially going to lose the position. Yep, and 2. So Caruana comes through as well. Belliciotis takes full advantage, and ultimately, as soon as he got into the clear air, the McLaren started to struggle. So the AMG is punching a big old hole in the air, but it looks like on his own, he's a little bit faster. But the big story here right now is, where's Sam Keitel? He is not in your shot right now. He has got that gap. He has lost the toe to the group behind, so now that means he can just run at his own pace. Kjelvik's caught up the Norwegian just a little bit behind there in that red and blue car. So yeah, Kjelvik looking good, and Higgins also being dragged along. So the more these 4 in front fight, it gives the opportunity for these 2 Aston Martins to indeed catch up. Where is Ben Luz, shall we? Let's have a look at Luz. He's a little bit further back. He's in P8, but we have got some Luxembourg fans in the house. There he is. So yeah, we've got Ben Luz representing Luxembourg in that number 87. It's a beautiful look. To be fair, that is a really nice livery as well. So yeah, he drives for Team VVDL, does Ben Luz. And yeah, his biggest achievement is he won a sim racing hot lap challenge at Spa. He got a free taxi run in a KTM Crossbow GTX race car. Yeah, now representing his country, which is some honour. So yeah, good to see Ben Luz racing, representing Luxembourg. Very small nation, but a nation with a big, big heart. Down towards the bus stop chicane on the exit of Blanchimont. No real huge mistakes made by anyone. No one's been facing the wrong way as it stands. Everyone relatively patient. So the only mistake we've really seen is from Laubish. He tried to make a move for P2. Didn't quite work out. Ran a little bit wide. Didn't have the overlap to work with on Yao Tayan, and ultimately it's cost him 2 spots, and now he's outside that top 3 as we see a move then into La Source. Yao Tayan did not expect that. He actually runs wide eventually because of it, and Belliciotis has gone from P4 up to P2 in the blink of an eye, about half a lap. And now the Williams driver is the head of this pack. I think it's very difficult for them to catch up to Sam Keitel unless they start bump drafting each other, which with a low downforce car like this is very dangerous, because yeah, just the slightest wrong bit of contact and, well, you're going to lift the car up and they're going to end up in a different planet. We've seen that from the Apex Racing team when they drafted each other, so we don't want to see that here today. As you can see there, look at this, it's like a group of ants. A little bit of jostling for position there. Caruana trying to keep Laubish behind. They've got the same livery in the McLarens there as we head down in towards Bruxelles. And again, this 4 have been pretty much bumper to bumper for the entirety of this race as it stands. And they still are. Sam Keitel, the only anomaly, off into the distance, he's gone. It is so difficult with the level of driver in this race to break the toe like that as we look at some trees. There's a lot of trees here, I can tell you that. I was here in Spa last year, and the one thing there was trees. And that was a great view of all of them there. Down in towards Pouhon, we will come now. 3 McLarens, 1 Mercedes. Mercedes maybe is the car for the tyres, who knows? But the McLaren looks like it might be the better overall package as it stands. So through the middle sector we will go. Oh, there's a mistake there from Yao Tayan. Looks like we've got a replay here. Sam Keitel is having a great day as it stands so far, but is there a mistake? Oh, well, that's a 1X, that's for sure. You don't want to be doing that too many times. Keitel, is he pushing? Yes. How much is he pushing? Also, yes. So, yes, Keitel still leads this race, but not taking anything for granted. Pit stop phase. When's the pit stops going to happen? That's the question. I think they're going to split it bang in the middle. Sam Keitel is really, he can do it whenever he wants now. It's not really going to affect his race. As we see some side-by-side action through Blanchimont. Oh, bit of door banging on the exit here. Yao Tayan. Oh, and indeed, Belliciotis. Oh, with more door banging as we come down towards that bus stop chicane. And, well, how nice is Yao Tayan going to be? Well, Yao Tayan decides, you know what, I'm losing too much time messing around here. I'm coming into the pit. So the first driver to blink, it is Yao Tayan in the AMG. And how clever was that? You're going to lose a lot of time because you're not going to be in a tow with anybody. He would have ideally liked at least one person to come in with him. But, yeah, it's not the end of the world. By the way, it's going to take about 25 minutes for them to do the pit stop. So by the time they leave this pit entry, or pit exit, sorry, the race will probably be over. It is maybe the longest pit lane in the world. Straw cap, no worries, mate. We want to try and showcase all of our drivers as we now take on the second part of the pit lane. If you get a drive-through penalty around here, basically you will be taking that penalty until the next round, which is in about a month's time. Crazy. Belliciotis currently in P2, then Caruana, Laubish are your front 4. Kjelvik obviously gains the position. Higgins also gains the spot. Loose up into P7 now. So Yao Tayan is down into P8, but of course everybody has to do this pit stop. And was that a clever bit of driving there? He also would have cost them position because he caught them off guard, or he would have cost them a little bit of time, all of the drivers around him. So yeah, Yao Tayan maybe leaning on his experience, probably with him and Sam Keitel, the 2 most experienced drivers on this grid. So has he played a bit of a blinder there? Yeah, I like to think so. Again, everybody watching at home, let me know where you're watching from around the world. Maybe let me know what nation or what driver you are supporting in this. And if you want to get yourself involved, neem.gg. You want to represent your country? You can absolutely do so. We've got 8 countries being represented in this championship. Wonder if we can get those flags up on the screen here while we see the pit stop of Yao Tayan. I'm going to show you exactly what countries are taking part in our first ever Nîmes Championship. Yaltayan now does leave the pits. It's going to be very lonely for him until at least one car brings the car through the pit lane. Oh, he just went over the white line there. Wondering if that he might be in a bit of trouble there. I'm not sure how lenient that part of the circuit is. I'm actually going back to the last time I did Spa-Francorchamps. I think I took that line every single time unintentionally, and I didn't get a penalty, so he's going to be all good. Nicholas Laubish then sits in behind Caruana, and Belletsiotis, who was P4 for considerable 5 laps, was very patient, and now the race has kind of fallen into his hands, and he's driven off into second spot. He's 3.7 seconds off the lead. Who brings it in? No one brings it in. So Yaltayan's going to have, again, another extra lap here where he's going to be very, very lonely, and it becomes a hot lap session. Not only is it a hot lap session, it's a hot lap session because the track temperature is very hot here indeed. So he might even get the benefit of the tyres for this next couple of laps. Although, I will say, it's only 18 minutes. So I'm not sure, how much of a beating they would have taken out of the tyres. Here's Ben Luz again, the Luxembourg participant, currently down in P7. In the McLaren, again, another real nice livery. But Sam Kiter still leads this race in 3.9 seconds. We saw him have a bit of a moment coming out of No Name, but as you can see there, he's got no problems whatsoever. He is not dragging those cars behind along. So he just needs to go out there, put in his lap times, run his own race, and he is golden. He'll pick up the first ever victory in this championship. So Sam Kiter leads then to Belletsiotis, about 3.9 seconds, maybe 4 seconds eventually by the time we come through this section of the circuit is the difference between the front two. Caruana, who was our pole sitter representing the United Kingdom, is in third spot. We've got Laubish then representing Germany in fourth. We've got Hjelvik representing Norway again in maybe the most beautiful livery. Look at this, got Norway written all down the side there, obnoxiously patriotic. I absolutely love it there in the Aston Martin. And then just one place further back is Higgins, another driver from the United Kingdom. Caruana and Higgins are the United Kingdom participants for this. And then we've got Ben Luz, of course, the Luxembourg driver. Let's have a look at the battle for P3 then. That's really what's heating up here. Caruana versus Laubish. It's not the first time they're racing against each other, and it absolutely will not be the last as well. But Caruana, as it stands, holding on to that P3. And they've actually got an opportunity here. There's an opportunity for these two to come into the pits together and actually overturn the deficit of the cars in front when they come out on their own. Although it does look like, in all fairness, that P2, Belletsiotis, has got some serious pace, even though he's not being towed along, and same as Sam Kiter. But if these two are clever, they do come in together. It just makes the most sense. We're just heading towards the halfway point of this race. 20 minutes, 40 seconds left on the clock. You imagine now that someone's going to bring it in. Someone's definitely going to be splitting this race in half to, have the perfect strategy. Anybody decided to do so? Nope, not yet. Hjelvik has. So Hjelvik has brought the car into the pits. But it looks at things from P5. He, of course, was behind Yaltayan. Oh, there's a cone being taken out there. Got to have some respect for the cones. Yeah, Hjelvik was behind Yaltayan, but it wasn't by a lot. It's by about 1.5 seconds. So I'm wondering whether staying out was the best idea. But it will be clear track for him once he comes out by the looks of things. So Caruana still holding on to this position. I wonder if Laubish might decide to take an opportunity on making a move here. Getting a clear line into the pits indeed will gain you a bit more time. So Laubish might have used a 1x there to get a bit of a run as we head then along the Kemmel Straight. I think that Caruana might still be getting a bit of a tow there from Belletsiotis as well. So it makes it a little bit more difficult. And also, when you're racing against the same car, on exactly the same setup, it becomes a little bit more difficult to make the overtake. So have to be patient. Has to sit in there. There's Laubish in P4. Was in P2 at one point. Obviously made a mistake. Oh, sorry, was in P3. Made the mistake going for the P2 position and dropped down to P5. Yaltayan, on that same lap, decided to come to the pits early. So right now, Yaltayan has come through the pits, and so is Hjelvik. So we need to go on board with Hjelvik in a minute just to see exactly where he will come out. So this is the battle now. Where is Yaltayan on track? So there he is. So there's Yaltayan. He's about to come up towards La Source. About to come up towards, well, across the start-finish line. The finish line for the lap. And will he be making the overtake here on the Norwegian? Well, the Norwegian hasn't even been dropped yet.
off the jacks. Here we go. It's going to be close. I think Yaltain's got him. Actually, I think it might be quite comfortable. Oh, no, the green cones are there. Pit limiter off. Here we go. The Norwegian driving as quickly as he possibly can. Oh, this is going to be a lot closer than I thought. I think Kjelvik might have him. We won't find out really until we get towards Lace.com. Cutting the track over the top there, trying to gain as much momentum as possible. And as we go then around the curve onto the Tennis straight, well, it's going to be close. Not going to be enough Yaltain, by the time they get into the braking zone, will be fully ahead. We'll probably pull over the bonnet off the Aston Martin. Absolutely does. But I tell you what, staying out is gaining an advantage there for Kjelvik. So Kjelvik's gained about 1.5 seconds. Yaltain, though, does indeed hold on to that position. So very interesting indeed. Very interesting indeed. So Nicholas Laubish still not coming to the pits. So it looks like staying out is probably the best option. And actually, by the looks of things, they are catching up to P2. So Belletsiotis not running away with it as much as he was previously. Sam Kiter, what's the gap actually? Has the gap come down? As we have got Higgins into the pits then. The second UK driver is into the pits. Has Higgins potentially got himself involved in a battle with Kjelvik and indeed Yaltain? The gap then between Kiter and Belletsiotis is actually 4.6 seconds. So no, it did look like going up towards the source, the gap had come down, but it definitely has not. Welcome to the stream there, Nate Dogg. Hopefully you're all well. To Belletsiotis in the McLaren P2 as it stands. It'll be a good finish, a podium in the first week. You've got to take advantage. This championship, there's not many people know about it. So the sign-ups have been a little bit less than maybe anticipated, but over the coming months there'll be more and more people getting involved. So getting a good finish now is massive for not only your nation, but of course the time attack. You've got those points in the bag. And if you want to represent your country, ladies and gentlemen, there is plenty of money in the offering. So per nation, there's 1,250 euros just for the time attack part of this championship. And then there's 2,500 euros for the best nation after the races once they finish in December. So go to neem.gg, so neem.gg. Go get yourself signed up. Doesn't matter your ability. There are tiers. There's tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, and indeed tier 4. And of course, tier 5. Ultimately, we could have 5 tiers each and every month. And yeah, you can go represent your country and gain points for your nation and then make some money at the end of the season. So yeah, go get yourselves involved. And Higgins comes out of the pits. Where is Yaltain and where is Kjelvik? Are they behind or have they already got ahead here of Higgins? Well, no, there we go. There's your answer. Yaltain's going to be right behind. And I tell you what, I think Higgins has jumped Kjelvik here. Kjelvik, I'm not sure how far he is behind. And it might be close. Oh, it's going to be very, very close. Higgins was behind Kjelvik once we had the pit stops, and it's an absolute send. Oh dear, nearly a collision between the two Aston Martins. But Higgins, from the United Kingdom, has jumped the Norwegian. So staying out longer in this race pays off big time. Stay out as long as you possibly can. The job is a good one. Like we're seeing from the front four, none of the front four have come in. Yeah, Kiter still leads, nearly 5 seconds. Second spot then, Belletsiotis. We got Caruana and Laubish. Those front four are indeed the only drivers who haven't pit right. Ben Luz has not pit either, actually. He's P5. So Tay and Higgins and Kjelvik are the drivers that have pit. Ben Luz, the Luxembourg driver, still yet to bring it through the pits. Barmy, thank you for posting the link. Anju Bo, how you doing, bud? You all good? Welcome to the broadcast. Again, if you've got any questions, ask me in the stream. Also, let me know where you're watching from around the world. It would be very much appreciated. And also, if you're enjoying the stream, let me know. If you're enjoying the broadcast and the race, let me know. Always nice to have positive messages on Twitch. I know it's crazy. It's crazy, YouTube and Twitch saying nice things, but let's just break the stigma. Ben Luz, currently in that P5 position, running around about the 2:29 mark. It's about a second and a half, a couple of seconds off the pace of the leader. Still doing very, very well indeed. Top 5 as it stands. We've got the battle for second position. You see it in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. Belletsiotis starting to lose time, starting to lose significant time actually to Caruana and Laubish. Laubish and Caruana will look to try and get this done. And I wouldn't be surprised if we now see these drivers come into the pits. If they're losing time, if they're going to lose time to Belletsiotis, they will absolutely decide now to bring the car into the pits. But as we've seen, the longer you stay out, the more time you will gain. I know that Yaltain has managed to get ahead of these two. He started ahead of them, but he was about a second and a half ahead of this group of cars. So they have managed to just reel him in ever slightly. So yeah, again, running through the most technical part of this circuit, this is where you lose the most amount of time. You just got to make sure that you're in the toe of the car in front. Get dragged along down towards Blanchimont. Flat out now, all the way down towards the harsh braking zone of the bus stop chicane. And it's 3 McLarens looking to try and get P2. Sam Kiter is absolutely checked out with 13 minutes, 30 seconds left on the clock. Are we going to see a potential move? I'm not sure they're close enough to each other for that to be a potential. But I think we're going to see a car bring it into the pits. And it might be both of the orange ones. I think if we see the black one come in, they don't. There we go. I think they split it. So there we go. That is the decision being made. I think if he didn't come in, both the orange cars bring it in. We've got a new fastest lap, actually. Sam Kiter in the front. Again, not in any tow. Been out on his own pretty much since the start. Obviously getting the jump from P2 on the grid up into the lead. Hasn't really looked back. He's now got the fastest lap of the race again. That's the 3rd time he's triggered the fastest lap. He is going quicker and quicker and quicker. A very impressive performance in our first race here in this championship. So you just got to tip your hat, and there's merely 12.5 minutes to go, and he's going to be taking that checkered flag. Ben Lewis then still in 5th, actually just moved up to 4th position as Belliciotis. We saw him come into the pits. It is such a long pit lane. I think he's going to have cleared Tayin, pretty comprehensively, as we see Laubish potentially going to have a nibble. Not sure you need to. It's almost you just need to push the car in front. You both get ahead of Belliciotis. You both then get onto the podium. Then you can fight it out for 2nd position. If you're patient this lap, this in lap, I'm pretty sure it will be an in lap as well. Then you've got yourself an opportunity of jumping the Williams driver in front of you. So there is Belliciotis in that McLaren. It will feel like an absolute eternity. And that's because it is. It's about 60 miles in terms of how long that pit lane is. It is ridiculously long. This is the battle then for, I think, effectively P5. Yaltayan keeping Higgins behind him. Hjelvik, who made a mistake to lose a bit of ground to these two, has ultimately caught back up. So pretty close. The Norwegian, again, still the best livery out there. And I challenge organisations to not only make a livery with your nation on it, and I want you to be so obnoxious with the flags, but I also challenge you to put the driver's team on there. So it's like a half livery. Maybe on the front of the car, it's got their full flag, and then whatever team they drive for is the rear of the car. So yeah, any of you paint creators out there that are involved in this championship, I challenge you to bring some obnoxious liveries. We love to see a colourful livery. I certainly do, and I will be judging you. I'll give you a score out of 10. Right now, everybody's on 0 for me, apart from Norway. They are on 10 out of 10. Unfortunately, that's not one of the stipulations of winning the money, but they've won my heart. So Norway, congratulations. Absolute respect. So Belliciotis, as you can see, is in P5, in behind Ben Lewis. So Ben Lewis have yet to pit. Top 4 are yet to pit. And there's Yaltayan, who's now 5 seconds behind. So yeah, Yaltayan has lost 5 seconds to Belliciotis. And here we go. Leaders into the pits. P2, P3 are into the pits as well. And maybe, are we about to see the Luxembourg driver leading the race? About to see Luxembourg leading the race? Or have they had to bring the car in? Nope. Ben Lewis had to bring the car in. So that means that they've gone as long as they could go in terms of the fuel. Oh, that would have been a story, ladies and gentlemen. Imagine we had Luxembourg leading a race. It's not quite going to happen, but yeah, it's a shame. Maybe next time. Sam Kiter still with that considerable margin. Look how close these two are. Honestly, they could almost high-five each other. So Caruana and Laubish, and this is the pivotal part of this story. Belliciotis, I think, will be behind these. I think they may have jumped him. It's a couple of laps now, the advantage in terms of how long they stayed out. And you can see that right there, Caruana and Laubish. Laubish seem to be catching all the way down. So it looks like he might be manually dealing with the pit limiter, which means he can go maybe a kilometre an hour over and not get the black flag. I think Caruana's got the button pressed, which means you're bang on what the pit limiter is. So a little tip for you there. If you're clever with your throttle pedal and you've not got a thunder foot like me, then you can indeed manually do the pit limiter, but it is high risk, high reward. You can end up getting a penalty by being over by a couple. And also when you restart and start driving out of the pits, you can go over by maybe 20 kilometers an hour for about a second, but you've got to make sure you drop it right down. So there is Belliciotis. Does he manage to come back out in 2nd position? Or has he been jumped? I tell you what, this is going to be very, very close. I think Sam Kiter has just come out the pits. What about the other two? No, they all will be ahead, I would imagine. So as we come then over the crest here, in behind P2 and indeed P3. And I'll tell you what, Belaciotis is going to be back ahead of them. As we come down towards the braking zone, obviously split them. He might have just about split them. His tyres are going to be up to temperature here nicely. You have to take new tyres. And well, that's the difference. The undercut, this is the first time it's worked. The undercut has worked here, and Belaciotis is in second spot. 8 minutes remain of this race, and Belaciotis is back up to P2. Sam Keitel is only 4.9 seconds ahead. He came into the pits about 6 seconds into the lead. So yeah, Belaciotis has made the undercut work. We see almost a bit of contact between Caruana and Laubish. Laubish there got very excited indeed. Oh no, Laubish has jumped him. Sorry, no, Laubish has jumped Caruana. So Caruana now is down to P4. Caruana was trying to get back the position, centered up the inside, grabbed far too much curb, ended up nearly sideways. And well, that certainly will put hairs on a man's chest. He would have definitely puckered up through that because it looked like he was going to end up into the grass. But he's not. He's all good. So everybody's pit right now. Ben Lewis down in P8. He's the last of our drivers as it stands. But still doing a very, very nice job indeed. And well, Sam Keitel is out there in the lead by 5 seconds. We're on board with Caruana. We're going to get a nice in-car view. Got a cop cam. We'd love to see it. Back onto the second fastest part of the circuit, down towards Blanchimont. You want to just stay as close to the car in front of you as possible. Maybe there's an opportunity to send one up the inside of the bus stop chicane, but in a three-way battle with your third car, it becomes very, very difficult because if you go side by side, it's going to cost you time to the car in front. As you can see, Laubish is extended. So Laubish, who had just stayed patient, to be fair, after making a mistake earlier going from P3 down to P5, has stayed very patient, but now he's got a bit of clear track. Seems to be very quick indeed. And actually, yeah, Laubish is doing a really nice job. Belaciotis, well, he's in dreamland. I think he was staring down the barrel at a P4 if he didn't make that decision to come into the pits. He made a bold decision to come in early because it hasn't worked for anybody else being the earlier car. And it's worked out lovely. Absolutely lovely. There's Sam Keitel again in the distance, in his own race as it stands. But yeah, Keitel, Belaciotis, Laubish is your third driver. Caruana is in fourth position. Yaltayan holds on to that fifth. Higgins, Hjelvik are indeed 6th and 7th. And then we've got Ben Lewis from Luxembourg in P8. How many laps have we got remaining in this race? What, 3 laps remaining? We're going to get the white flag. Yeah, 3 laps remaining, including this one. Sam Keitel just needs to keep it on the tarmac, and he is good to go. Down in towards Lace-Com. We go a little bit further back then. Higgins is the meat in the Hjelvik and Yaltayan sandwich. Yaltayan, the only driver taking part in the Mercedes AMG, which is a strong car, just apparently not around Spa. So Yaltayan, I think if he was in a McLaren today, would probably be at the sharp end of this race, to be honest. But yeah, finds himself a little bit further back. And then we've got Stefan Hjelvik. Again, look at this livery. Obnoxiously Norwegian, right? It's just like, here's our flag. Yes, we are representing our country. Here it is. Norway. Bosch. Yeah, I love it. So again, I challenge every single nation to be doing exactly the same. Sam Keitel with the Dutchy colours, the orange, coming through that middle chicane. And then there's the battle for P2. So 2 of these drivers are going to get a podium. One of them isn't. Who is going to be the driver that loses out? Who will be the 2 drivers that do indeed keep hold of the positions? Because these are so close, I think we're going to see some spicy action over the next couple of laps. We've got, again, Laubish just in the middle here, very close. What about your exit? Can you maybe get yourself ahead with a couple of laps to go? I'm not sure it's worthwhile unless in behind. Unless Caruana tries to send one on Laubish, probably makes more sense just to sit back here in P3. He's in the best spot here, I think, to get P2. Albeit they are in the same car, so it becomes a little bit more difficult in the fixed setup. I don't exactly know how strong the rear wing is. How much downforce have they put on the setup? So if it's really strong, then you're going to struggle to have that top end speed, even in the slipstream. But as it stands, it does look a little bit difficult on similar cars or the same cars. It's very difficult to make the overtake. 2 laps remain, 4 minutes, 20 seconds left of our inaugural race in this Nîmes Championship. The Northern European Esports Masters. So, who is going to get those final podium spots? It looks almost guaranteed that Sam Keitel is going to reel away and pick up the first ever victory here at Spa. But who is indeed going to pick up that second spot? It is still in Belaciotis' hands. made a bold strategy call by coming in early. Would have known that it's not worked for anybody else. Anyone who's come in early has kind of lost time, but he managed to make it work. The undercut did get him back ahead of this group. And then you've got Laubish, who has been the driver that's most inclined to make moves, I must admit. Absolutely looked to make moves at every opportunity, apart from maybe the last 10 minutes where he's become a little bit more patient. And then Caruana, who will feel like he should be a little bit further up, was pole position. So in terms of raw pace, you kind of throw your hat in the ring and say that Caruana should be fighting with Sam Kiter minimally at the front as a minimum result, but isn't. He's just barely hanging on to a potential podium strike. So these three, as close as they were at the start of this race, with 1.5 laps to go as they head down towards Puon, it's still anyone's guess as to who gets that P2. So as it stands, Sam Kiter from the Netherlands is P1. Belletsiotis there is in P2. Belletsiotis representing Germany. You've then got Laubish, who's also representing Germany. So that's 2 German podiums potentially as it stands. Caruana, representing the United Kingdom, is in 4th position. So the first UK driver. Then we got Jarl Teyen, representing Norway, is our first Norwegian driver. We've then got Higgins, who's representing the United Kingdom, the second of our UK drivers. Then in 7th position is Kjelvik, who of course is representing Norway. Look at that livery. We've then got Luz, who's representing Luxembourg in P8 in the McLaren, the most chosen car. We're heading up towards the white flag here at Spa. And well, as it stands, no one's really looking to blink. And I wonder, as they come along the Kemmel Straight, is that the opportunity? We've seen Laubish try to send one down in towards La Source and catch people out. I'm not sure he's quite close enough to make anything happen. We've got a new fastest lap, by the way. Sam Kiter has just done a 27.105. Is there the potential for a 26? I know Sam Kiter isn't going to take anything off of his lap times. He's just going to go as fast as he possibly can. You can't really... they're top-level sim racers. They don't really have an off button, if we're completely honest. Heading then down towards Raidillon and Eau Rouge for the very final time. Who is going to pick up P2? And I tell you what, Belletsiotis is under all sorts of pressure. Laubish with a really nice run then up towards that Kemmel Straight, pulls the car out to the left, but now we'll hit that big brick wall of air. And now he tries to pinch him down towards that apex. Bit of grass taken there by Belletsiotis. You can see in the background there, Caruana is just hoping there's some contact between the two of them. Around the outside, we will go. Can you keep that overlap for Laubish? He absolutely can. And as we still come through Les Combes, he hasn't quite got it configured. He's got to go all the way around the outside, heads up towards Bruxelles, and well, there's contact between the two drivers, and well, as we head down then in towards Bruxelles, it's Caruana that takes full advantage. He was waiting for the opportunity. They did have a coming together, and the one driver that doesn't care about that little argument is Caruana. Takes P2, and well, now off to drive into the sunset. The ADAC race stewards will absolutely be taking a look at that, but the one driver who's not going to get penalised and will take, again, P2 if he stays in this spot. No dramas whatsoever. It is going to be Matt Caruana. So the UK crowd goes wild. Looks like it's going to be a Netherlands versus UK P1, P2, as it was at the front row, just reversed from qualifying. Through the middle sector we come. And is there the potential for more fireworks? I'm telling you now, Laubish is not going to be happy. He got cornered on the exit of Les Combes. And I think if he's got an opportunity of making a send, he absolutely is going to do so. Sam Kiter, 7 seconds in the lead. He is not worried about this. He is going to win this race. But what's the run like down towards Blanchimont, through Blanchimont, down towards that bus stop chicane? Can Laubish find himself an opportunity? I'm not sure he is quite close enough, but how late can you brake? How close can you make it as we head down towards that final chicane? But it's beautiful from Caruana. No real pressure thrown onto the Brit here as he comes down in towards that final braking zone. And well, Caruana is taking full advantage of shenanigans. Our first ever race winner, though, in the Nîmes Championship is going to be Sam Kiter. For himself and the Netherlands, picks up the victory, and it was very comprehensive indeed. Qualified P2, but ultimately took the victory in the race where it mattered. Caruana is going to take second position. He took advantage of the shenanigans between Belletsiotis and indeed Laubish. And well, Belletsiotis will also take P3. Whether or not he keeps that position, I'm not too sure. I think that there might be a cause for a penalty. But ultimately, it was very much hard racing from what I saw. Jarl Teyen takes a top 5. And then we got in 6th position Higgins. Hjelvik finishes in 7th spot. And Ben Luz then from Luxembourg, he's got fans in the chat, that's for sure, will pick up P8. And again, it may not look good in terms of what we're seeing. You know, he's the last driver across the line, but P8's big points. It really is. There's going to be, you know, more people taking part in this championship as we do indeed move forward. So yeah, expect people to take advantage in the first few months of this one and try and get some points on the board. Sam Kuytert, though, is your first ever Nîmes race winner. Congratulations to him. Congratulations to the Netherlands. And wow, what an incredible performance from him. A little bit of fun for everybody watching over on Twitch. Who's your driver of the day? Let me know who your driver of the day is, everybody. Maybe you've got, you know, a particular move you saw that warrants someone to be driver of the day. I'm not going to give it any votes or anything like that. But yeah, let me know who your driver of the day is. But we're just going to give Sam Kuytert a bit of screen time here to celebrate his race win. So we've got a formation then through the middle sector of the McLarens. So we're just waiting for the official results to pop up on our screens, ladies and gentlemen. But I think you know, considering the amount of drivers we had, I think that was a very entertaining race. Sam Kuytert picks up P1, 7.4 seconds ahead of Matt Caruana, who's just taken full advantage on that final lap there. Just a very patient drive. Of course, he would have been very angry with how things went. He went from P1 on the grid at the start of this race down to P5 in a blink of an eye. But he got up to P2, so a really good performance from Matt Caruana. Vasilios Beletsiotis picks up P3, 7.8 seconds off of the pace and a podium. Nicholas Laubish then picks up P4. I think he's going to be celebrating with gritted teeth. I'm sure he'll be in the steward's office asking some questions. Jarl Teyen will pick up P5. Gareth Higgins picks up P6. Stefan Hjelvik will pick up P7. Ben Luz will pick up P8. Let's have a look at the calendar then, ladies and gentlemen, and have a little chat about the next event that we have coming up for you next month. It is a chance for you all to get yourselves involved. So if you want to get yourself involved in the time attack, it begins on June the 5th all the way through to June 18th. So just get yourself into the top 50 of your nation in terms of the time attack across the 6 time attack events. You're going to earn yourself some cash in December. So go to Nîmes.gg, get yourself signed up. Oh, you can win yourself some money. It really is as simple as that. Not only do you get yourself a chance of winning money, but you get to represent your country. How often can you say, oh, I've got a chance to represent my country? As you can see, it's a GT4 championship, 8 nations, 6 rounds, 12,500 euros in cash prizes. Hopefully you enjoyed that, ladies and gentlemen. We will be back next month for round number 2. But before we go, make sure that you follow Nîmes.gg on all of the socials. On Instagram, it's Nîmes.gg. On Twitter, it's Nîmes_GG. On TikTok, again, I'm over 30, so I can't legally have a TikTok account, but it's Nîmes.gg. YouTube, it's Nîmes_GG. Twitch, it's Nîmes_GG as well. And make sure that you also, once you signed up on the website, which is Nîmes.gg, you can indeed join the Discord. But yeah, hopefully you have indeed enjoyed that. Make sure you follow the channels before you disappear. My name's been Luke Crane. This has been the Northern European Esports Masters, and we'll see you next month for round 2.